Before he was Hollywood's eternal bachelor and the face of eco-activism, Leonardo DiCaprio was just a scrappy kid dodging gang violence in East LA, hustling auditions with a single mom who believed he was destined for greatness. From teenage heartthrob to Oscar-winning powerhouse, DiCaprio's journey is a roller coaster of near misses, dramatic reinventions, and tabloid explosions. But behind the model dating headlines and blockbuster fame lies a man who risked everything to be taken seriously. By Hollywood, by critics, and maybe even by himself. Before the yachts, before the supermodels, and long before the Oscar, Leonardo DiCaprio was just a scrappy kid from the wrong side of Hollywood, literally. Born in 1974 to a bohemian German mom and a comic book artist dad, Leo didn't grow up in Beverly Hills. His childhood playground? The rough streets of East Los Angeles, where needles littered sidewalks and gang violence echoed through the nights. "I saw people getting shot in front of my house," he would later say. But there was always one escape. His mother, Ermeline, fiercely believed her son was special. She juggled jobs, took him to auditions on public buses, and told anyone who'd listen, "My son is going to be famous." Spoiler alert, she was right. Leo's first taste of the spotlight? Not glamorous, rejected from Romper Room for being too disruptive, scored cheesy TV commercials. And just when he started to think maybe this dream wasn't meant to be, growing pains came calling. As Luke, the homeless teen with a heart of gold, he charmed his way into American living rooms and studio casting books. But the real turning point came in 1993. This boy's life. One role, one legend. Robert De Niro. At just 18, Leo held his own against one of the most intimidating actors in history, and stole scenes while doing it. Hollywood sat up. Critics took note. And just like that, he wasn't a teen idol in training anymore. He was an actor. Then came What's Eating Gilbert Grape. If you weren't paying attention before, you were now. Playing Arnie Grape, the mentally disabled younger brother to Johnny Depp, DiCaprio disappeared into the role with such haunting brilliance that most people thought the studio had cast a real special needs actor. At 19, he landed his first Oscar nomination. The industry was buzzing. Was he the next Brando? The new James Dean? Leo, still just a teenager, stood on the edge of stardom with critics in one hand and opportunity in the other. But fame is never just about talent, and Leo was about to find that out the hard way. If Gilbert Grape put him on the map, Romeo and Juliet lit the match. Suddenly, Leonardo DiCaprio was everywhere, on bedroom walls, in teen magazines, and in the dreams of millions. Baz Luhrmann's wild, modern twist on Shakespeare turned the brooding 21-year-old into a pop culture explosion. He wasn't just acting, he was redefining cool for an entire generation. But even Leo could never have predicted what came next. Titanic. The word alone changed his life forever. James Cameron's $200 million gamble, starring DiCaprio as the tragic romantic Jack Dawson, became more than just a film, it became a phenomenon. Teenage girls fainted in theaters. "I'm the king of the world!" became an anthem. The box office broke records, and so did Leo's fame. He was the most talked about actor on the planet. He couldn't walk down the street. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't hide. But behind the scenes, Leo hated it. The screaming fans, the paparazzi, the global obsession with his face, not his craft. And worst of all, Hollywood now saw him as just another pretty boy. Offers rolled in, big blockbusters, fat paychecks. But Leo turned them down. He wanted grit, substance, something real. Instead, he became tabloid gold. Enter the Pussy Posse, a now infamous crew of young, rich party boys including Tobey Maguire, Kevin Connolly, and magician David Blaine. They trashed hotel rooms, dated models, and hit every hot club in New York and LA. The media had a field day. The same critics who once hailed Leo as the next acting prodigy now called him shallow, distracted, overrated. But Leo wasn't spiraling. He was recalibrating. In 2000, he returned with The Beach, a darker, more ambitious role meant to shed the boyish glow. Audiences didn't buy it. Critics were mixed. But DiCaprio wasn't backing down. He took a breath, doubled down on talent, and placed a career-changing bet on a single man, Martin Scorsese. Their first collaboration, Gangs of New York, didn't just signal a new chapter, it tore the old one to pieces. Gone was the pretty boy. In his place stood a man ready to brawl, bleed, and be brutal. And that was just the beginning. Great. Now we enter the transformation years. Here's Act 3, Reinvention and Respect, crafted to maintain intrigue and deepen the audience's emotional investment. The year is 2002, and Leonardo DiCaprio is no longer chasing stardom, he's chasing greatness. Gangs of New York mark the beginning of a powerful new partnership. DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese. Hollywood royalty meets raw ambition. The result? Fireworks. In The Aviator, Leo vanished into the mind of Howard Hughes. Paranoid, brilliant, tragic. It wasn't just acting, it was transformation. And once again, Oscar came knocking. Nomination? Yes. Victory? Not yet. But Leo wasn't done. Next came The Departed, a gritty, violent plunge into Boston's underworld. DiCaprio bled for this role, both figuratively and literally. Fans saw it, critics saw it, but when Oscar night came, he went home empty-handed again. The media dubbed it Leo's curse. Every role a knockout, every year a snub, so he pushed harder. Revolutionary Road, Shutter Island, Inception. Each role peeled away another layer of DiCaprio's clean-cut image. He was dark, damaged, dangerous, and while the box office kept exploding, the man himself grew more private. He rarely did interviews, never talked about relationships. He became the ultimate contradiction, Hollywood's most famous mystery. But behind the curtain, Leo was evolving, this time not on screen, but on the global stage. In 2014, DiCaprio addressed the United Nations with a passionate warning about climate change. He wasn't promoting a movie, he was calling for action. His foundation, quietly built over years, had already donated tens of millions to environmental causes. "We are failing nature," he said, "and nature is not failing us." Yet the world raised an eyebrow. Can a man lecture about emissions from the deck of a private yacht? Can a climate activist also be a serial vacationer with models on Mediterranean shores? That tension, between the message and the man, only made him more fascinating, and his roles began to mirror that complexity. Enter Django Unchained. Leo as a sadistic slave owner? Audiences were stunned. Critics were blown away. DiCaprio didn't just play evil, he made it seductive, horrifying, unforgettable. He smashed the comfort zone to pieces. And still, no Oscar. But Leo was playing the long game. The best was yet to come. By 2015, Leonardo DiCaprio wasn't just a movie star, he was a living legend without a crown. Every year, the same question echoed louder. How does Leonardo DiCaprio not have an Oscar? The internet turned it into a meme. Late-night hosts joked about it. Even Leo laughed along, on the outside. Then came The Revenant. It wasn't just a movie, it was a war of survival. Filmed in brutal, freezing wilderness with natural light, DiCaprio ate raw bison liver, slept inside animal carcasses, and risked hypothermia, all for authenticity. No green screens, no Hollywood shortcuts, just pain, pure, punishing dedication. When he staggered onto that Oscar stage in 2016, golden statue finally in hand, the world erupted. The standing ovation wasn't just for the performance. It was for the journey, for the boy from East LA who outlasted the hype, the heartbreaks, the haters. In his acceptance speech, he didn't gloat. He talked about climate change, about urgency, about legacy. But here's the thing about DiCaprio. He never let the Oscar be his finish line. After The Revenant, he took a long, quiet break. No flashy blockbusters, no desperate career moves. He waited, he chose. And when he returned, it was with a masterstroke. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Under Quentin Tarantino's wild direction, Leo delivered one of his most layered, vulnerable performances yet, playing a washed-up actor terrified of irrelevance. Art imitating life? Maybe. Brilliant? Absolutely. Off-screen, he remains as enigmatic as ever, still the tabloid's favorite bachelor, still the environmental warrior who vacations on megayachts, still rarely giving interviews, and still making people wonder, who is the real Leonardo DiCaprio? Because at the heart of it, Leo has mastered something most celebrities never do. He gives just enough to be adored but never enough to be truly understood. Today, he stands as one of the few true movie stars left in a world obsessed with fleeting fame, an artist, an activist, a myth in real time. And if history tells us anything, it's this: Leonardo DiCaprio's story isn't finished. Not even close.